podcast, start recording. Mix Monday! Mix Monday is back. I wasn't here last week, but I'm here this week. It's Mix Monday. Everybody get on computers and pay attention to your phones and do all the things. It's Mix Monday. I'm having some White Claws, which will never get caught by the censors, but everything else you ever say does. We live! It's Mix Monday. We're doing a Christmas song. Ushering in the Christmas season. It's the first day of December. We are officially in the Christmas season. I think Black Friday is probably like the official start of Christmas season. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I always think like December 1st, then we're definitely deep in Christmas season. And we are deep in Christmas season. We have started Christmas season. So we're doing a Christmas song today. And today's video, today's Mix Monday, today's world is going to be, how many tracks can you do? As many as I've ever needed. Today's Mix Monday is going to be on mixing a song with intent, mixing a song with direction, mixing a song and not just doing a bunch of fucking shit because you're supposed to. Like, this is, how many times have you seen a mixer like doing all this crazy shit on a song that you feel like every pop song's like that, but like we used to just mix with intent. We don't mix with intent anymore. We mix everything the exact same. A lot of people mix everything the exact same way. This song to me should feel like an old-timey Christmas song, you know? Like back in the day when you had a Christmas song, the kick drum wasn't just fucking slamming all the time. Like listen to the John Lennon Christmas song, the Paul McCartney Christmas song, like they're balanced. They feel really like the song is what's important. The words are important, but like the push forward. So what I did when I mixed this song, I recorded this song, I mixed this song, I wrote this song, I did everything with this song, and I did it all with intent. So starting off with the Rhodes. Let's listen to the start of this song just to see. Am I still mixing on the IN8s? I am. Just to see what I'm talking about.
I ain't seen snow in almost 3 years now. I ain't been home for Christmas in my own town. Dad would light up the house, Mom would dress up the tree. Christmas spirit would still capture me. We'd be away and safe from the storm, in a house decorated by a fire that's warm. There won't be snow falling for all to see. Any presents with my name underneath the tree. Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember when. Before I was grown, 'cause this year I'm spending Christmas all alone.
I'm going to skip a little bit ahead so I can make a point real quick. And that point is, listen to already where this first chorus is the first time the drums come in and they are acting as percussion. This is Beatles style, this is Ringo style of like drums, where like the drums are serving a purpose, and that purpose is to keep a tempo and but they're not supposed to be even really noticed. When you listen to this part of this song, it picks up a little bit. There's a little bit more of like the cymbals and everything, and you feel that wash. But overall, we are not getting like the drums as a drum set. We're getting the drums as a center of percussion, right? Now later in the song, once we get into like the bridge and the last hook, we're really going, right?
Here at the end, I still stand back, 'cause here at the end, I feel less like a boy. There won't be snow falling for all to see.
drum set is forward. When it's still not even really forward. It's just balanced with the rest of the instruments a little bit more. And this is a song that was written and recorded with intent. I cannot stress the importance of recording and producing and composing with intent, so that your music feels like, this is where dynamics come from. This is where tone comes from. This is where like these beautiful sounds come from, is by composing with intent. We started this song, Andrew Stevenson and I started this song with just me playing Rhodes and him playing, I want to say he did acoustic first and then we did electric. I'm pretty sure we did acoustic and then we did electric. So with that in mind, this is what we started with. The Rhodes is a beautiful touch to the song. We started with the Rhodes. We live tracked guitar and Rhodes and a demo vocal. He was writing with us while we were playing, but we really just tracked the guitars, the Rhodes, and the acoustic together. And then I added more. Basically, it was just me and Andrew. We started with just the Rhodes. I started with the Rhodes. I wrote a little part on the Rhodes, and then I gave it, and we played it together to figure out all the parts, and then we played it together across the track, and then we started adding more things. Now, I knew exactly what I was hearing in my head for this entire song as I was making it, but each thing I added had to be a decision that sonically is accounted for, not just in like the way that the mix comes together, but the way it feels, the way that like the whole song like grows from the start, where we're just acoustic or just Rhodes and electric guitar and bass. To where we get to the end.
Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember those times before I was gone. 'Cause this year I'm spending Christmas home. I'm spending Christmas home.
That's a massive change. That is a huge jump in dynamics between the start of this song and the end of this song. And this is going to be one of those things that we have to, this has to be played correctly from the start. This has to be recorded correctly from the start. Otherwise, our balances are, can you imagine if we didn't play with the right dynamics to get us to this end state and everything was quieter like the way we started, how hard it would be to mix, how much automation that you'd have to do, how much like compression and everything you'd have to get this thing in the right pocket. We didn't have to do any of that stuff because we recorded with intent, because we started with the concept of, by the end, we're going to build to something big. This, by the way, this song is called Christmas Alone. It's available. The link on YouTube is there. If you guys want to hear this whole thing in high definition, you can hear it on YouTube. Right now, you can go over there and listen, and you'll get stereo quality audio and all that bullshit. But I also leave the replay up so you can watch this again later up on YouTube. So what I was saying, we started this whole thing with a concept. We are going to start soft and build into a big thing. I knew where all the parts, I knew the first chorus was going to have a little bit of drums, then we'd drop out in the re-intro, then we'd bring in, and I started demoing out drums because Andrew was here and he's a pretty good drummer, and I played that like the original rhythm of everything, but I did that because I didn't want to I didn't want to game plan it. I wanted to game plan it with Nick whenever he came in. So all of these drums did not exist until a week after we wrote all this song. The rest of this, I produced all the rest of this based upon what I thought was going to happen. So let's go through the entire mix real quick, because there's not a lot to talk about with what's actually happening. Like, look at these drums. What do I got on here? I got a Saturn II on the kick. I've got a phase flip on the overheads. I got a little bit of a plus 7K kind of bell here that's just making this, I want this to sound just a tiny bit more vintage than it does sound. And then that's it. There's a trim to balance out my rooms because they were a little bit unbalanced. On a Fairchild on the drum bus, but that's it. So let's listen to these drums. I'm not using any plugins on this shit. I'm not using any, look at this. This is one EQ on the overheads and a Saturn on the kick drum just to give it a little bit more body on the low end, because even though I was using the sub kick, I felt the sub kick wasn't the right sound. I felt like the kick itself just needed to be a little bit more chunky on the bottom end. And like I turned the sub kick down for the most part. Look at this. All of my fader levels, all the same. -5, -5, -5 for the most part. The rooms are -7 and my sub kick is -15. Everything else is -5. Do you know what that means, chat? Do you know what that means? That means that when I recorded this, it was as loud as it needed to be. I mean, I turned it down -5, but other than that, that was like an equal balance. That means that my shit was entirely balanced. Listen to these drums. These were entirely balanced when I recorded them. Think about the difference that that makes in a mix when your drums start sounding like this. This is something I am constantly trying to beat into people's heads. A good mix starts in the recording process. It starts when you're writing the song and when you're recording the song. If you have a good recording, you do less mixing. All these secrets that you need, all these tricks that exist on the internet, all of these mixing courses that exist on the internet, they serve to provide you with a way to correct your shittiness. If you just recorded it correctly in the first place, buy my course, you get this mix to start with. Listen to those toms. Listen to the amount of room on those toms. Listen to the kick drum, the way it's just like, again, just a tiny bit chunky on the bottom end was all I was trying to do. Yeah, I'll slide it here, more. Here, there you go. Is that better for you? Can you see it better? If you record with intent, if you record the way you want things to sound, the entire process gets easier. It's less work. Why wouldn't you spend the time learning to do the shit right at the start? Mix Monday is really recording Monday. It's really learn how to do this shit correctly. Stop letting your clients go to these inferior ass fucking engineers. Start learning to do this shit proper, and the mix is so fucking easy every single time. All right, so that's the drums. That's all there is on the drums. That's it. There is nothing else going on here. That drum is going through an instrument bus. Eventually, that drum bus is going through an instrument bus. Yes, this is my vintage Gretsch. It's going through the instrument bus, and the instrument bus not doing very much, making a little space in the middle for the vocal to sit, the bottom end of the vocal, and compressing a little bit, not even that much. But we'll come back to that in a second. Let's go through the rest of the things, right? So, bass, drum and bass, that's essential. Getting your drums and your bass correct are a huge part of a mix. So in this situation, these drums and this bass are really hitting together a lot. Also, you hear that squeaky ass pedal sneaking in there? Squeaky ass pedal. That's that John Bonham vibe. But you know what? You don't hear it in the song. Why give a shit about it if you don't hear it in the song? So that kick and that bass should really just sit with each other. The only thing I did on the entire track, did you mic the kick beater? No, I did not. That is just bleeding through from the overheads. I'm pretty sure, because there's nothing else there that's, yeah, it's got to just be the overheads. Yeah, it's pretty much bleeding in from the overheads. All right, so kick and bass, that's it. There's not much going on there. Really, the driving force of this song is the Rhodes. The Rhodes I played, and you can always tell when I played something on something that I mixed, right? Because whatever I played has the most edits every single time. No, there's no MIDI drums. These are all Nick Adams. Nick Adams, famous internet drummer Nick Adams, played drums on this. I love him for it. He comes over anytime I ask, and he records some drums. So the Rhodes, as I was saying, the Rhodes is the heart of this track. And you can tell that I played it because there's so much fucking edits on it. Like, there's big chunks or whatever. And I tried to make sure that I did not over-edit anything. But definitely, what I play is always the most quiet is the same for me as well. But also, in this situation, I played everything except for the guitar. So the lead guitar and the acoustic guitar. So I had to put something in the front. But the Rhodes sounds really great. But let's walk through what's on the Rhodes, because this is really important. Listen to that buzz. This was one of those moments whenever you're recording where, yeah, I'll go over the acoustic after this Rhodes. This is one of those important moments in recording when we were working on the song and my assistant was in here pressing record because I'm playing the Rhodes, obviously. And he's like, the Rhodes is buzzy. And I was like, fuck it, we'll fix it later. Like, there is many times in your recording career where you could say, fuck it, I'm using the plugin later, because it was more important to get this idea down and to get this recorded than it was to me to fix a buzz that I can fix later. So later, this X noise becomes what I put on. Listen to the change. It's pretty fucking loud. So it saves me, but I knew that this would work perfectly for this Rhodes and that it would sound amazing. So up next, I got a little bit of EQ. You can see, again, I'm creating some space because this lower end of this register here that is in his vocal, that's important. And I'm just pushing a little bit of brightness, probably to make up more for the X noise, trimming some of it out than anything. Then I got an LA2A. Not really doing a ton, a tiny little bit of compression just on some of these bigger things. You would notice it more here in the late. And you know, here's something interesting about this that I'm noticing now. So this Rhodes, it's using light sensors to trigger its vibrato. It's left and right. It's got these photo sensors, these LED sensors in here. That's how they trigger the vibrato back and forth. Like, one lights up and then it dims, one lights up. So it is a very true stereo. When you hear it without this compression on, you're really hearing the vibrato in stereo hardcore. It's really obvious to you hearing that vibrato in stereo like that. When I put this compression on, you can hear it actually tightens up the stereo image a little bit. It's making it just a little bit tighter because these volume changes are being restricted a little bit. So it's not as big of a volume jump every single time. Listen to the change. When I bypass it, it seems to get a little bit wider because the volume changes are more severe. So in this situation, I am actually tightening up a little bit of the stereo width of this Rhodes because I have the depth going so hard and it's like getting so, you know, like aggressive that it really is showing more stereo than I really want it to feel. Then after that, I just have a vintage verb with a little bit of plate on an 18% mix. You can see this is generally what happens whenever you open up a Valhalla vintage verb. The only thing I did was change it to a plate, lowered the pre-delay from 20s, made the mix away, and lowered the decay. And I raised the low cut up a little bit. That's it. That's all I did. A few quick moves. That's why I love the Valhalla vintage verb, is because it's like you're 3 moves away from having the EQ you want in general. Now keep in mind, this was the mix, but this probably went on like almost immediately. And then I have another Rhodes that I played on top of this. This was just an extra pass. This is a composition pass. This is whenever you get done making a pass of Rhodes, you're like, I really kind of wish it had some more high notes in this section and it had a little bit more like, you know, like just activity going. So you can hear. And you can also notice I do not need the X noise on the Rhodes anymore because I came in, heard the other Rhodes, how it was recorded, and I went and fixed it, right? It's like I knew that I was going to do a little bit extra on this, so I just went and fixed it right away. Now let's hear these together. I'm just reinforcing those high notes that happen. I'm not doing the whole thing. I just want those to kind of pop a little bit, and the guitar is doing a similar thing. Or should I say the inverse thing? It's reinforcing the lows and then like the high notes are happening on its own. It's this really cool thing where it's like you're making some dynamics in the arrangement right off the bat. It's like this was an intentional thing. You can hear he's doubling the first half of the phrase and I'm doubling the second half of the phrase, but an octave up.
I ain't seen snow.
At this point, right, we got this Rhodes. This Rhodes is pretty simple. Again, there's not much going on here. I'm just playing across this whole thing. I think it gets a little bit. This little piece here at the end, when we get to the end, you'll notice, like, because everything's really like going crazy at this point. There's all these different instruments in that were not in at the start, and at this point, I'm starting to just like the Rhodes is doing its thing. Still the same kind of arpeggiated chords, but then I added in this other Rhodes now to give this like some texture. This is a texture sound. Just adding some more texture in there to kind of wash in this whole thing together. Again, this is a Christmas song. It should feel like a fucking, it should feel like a snowball fight, man. It should feel it. You don't write Christmas songs, unless that's what you do, but you don't write Christmas songs like that sound like metal songs or rock songs. This is a Christmas fucking song, right? Speaking of which, Christmas song, let's go back just for a second before we start talking acoustics. What does every fucking Christmas song need? Without a doubt. Fucking sleigh bells, bro. Are you kidding me? When you make a song, make it the way it's supposed to sound. Lean into the shit. Lean into this stuff. Lean into the sleigh bells. Lean into the fucking, you know, like these swells going into the chorus, you know? That's Christmassy as fuck, dude. Do your fucking Christmas shit. This song, it ends here at the end, too. And notice the percussion kind of follows the arc of the song. We want just a little bit, and then it drops out. Then we pick back up in the pre here, and then like as we go, it becomes more intense. You can see it starts going. You know, here it's like every bar, I think. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's every bar here, and then it goes to like quarter notes here. Sorry, half notes is what it is. That's gonna follow the song. Again, you construct your song, you compose your song, you record your song, all with intent. It is the Greazy Wil. 1L, please, because I don't take any extras. Oh, shit, son. All right. Moving on. All right, to the acoustic guitar. So like I said, we played this acoustic and the Rhodes together. Ratthew in the chat. Everybody congratulate him on putting together a really good song.
In almost 3 years now, I ain't been home.
So this guitar, again, not much going on. You can see right here, I'm just chopping off the low end of it and pushing just a little bit of that like third fundamental. Other than that, a tiny bit of reverb. Barely a noticeable amount, right? And then a little bit of compression. I think this was his Martin that he played this on. It's not, I mean, it's a nice guitar, but again, it is more about how you play your song and how you record the song than it will ever be any of the mix. Like, look at this. This mix is still, there's no automation. There's like very little, only like in the harmonies here, which again, I did all these harmonies, which is why I'm automating them, because when we get to those, you'll be like, oh, I see what you're doing there. I don't really sing harmonies. I don't think you should sing harmonies like, you know, like whatever you're, if you, like with all the words. I think harmonies should like, you should sing them all like you're a deaf person, basically. Like, you shouldn't pronounce any of the S's, any of the T's, any of these like things. You want to keep all of the sounds out so that the lead is doing all that. That's how you stop from having S's and T's all choppy all over the place. Now, of course, you can vocal line them and get them all to hit together, or you can just not sing them, you know? Christmas all alone. I know it sounds really stupid whenever I'm doing it, but when you hear it, it's essential to how these all match up so clean. Just a lot of oohs and lahs for sure in this, no doubt. This is so funny. You can hear me say snow, but then listen to this second double, or this second harmony that I'm doing in here. I literally chopped off of the tree. Listen to this next one too. Name underneath the tree. Not killer. Hey, look, they're not perfect.
Won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree.
You don't want all of those hard consonants to poke through. I know it sounds like I'm making fun of people. I am not making fun of people. I'm just saying that's how you should sing your backgrounds, is you should sing them like you cannot pronounce your hard consonants. Because then and more legato through everything. Just works. It works. Let me see what this is. Here's some more backgrounds. Oops. Greazy does not have the golden pipes. Greazy has the golden auto-tune. Greazy knows how to sing for a song, and that's it. I can only be in the background. Don't put me up front. I'll sound like shit. But if you put me in the background, I'll get on it. I'll sound pretty decent. I got some doubles up in here for sure. What is this? I think this is where I started singing actual...
Snow falling for all to see. Won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree.
He's actually kind of great. All right, so here's these. Listen to these. I'm jumping around right now because I got distracted, but here's the verse with these.
My mat is always warm, there won't be snow falling for all to see. There won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree. Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember when.
All of those doubles in there, all these, like, every part that I'm adding, even, like, listen to these.
Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to. Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to.
That's the only harmony I did that actually, like, sticks out intentionally.
Next year we'll be together again.
We'll be together again. It's not bad.
Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember when. Before I was grown, 'cause this year.
So it's a lot of stuff that, like, you're just supposed to feel, not so much hear. I like doing vocals like that. Since we're doing vocals, might as well take a little listen to, like, where this bridge goes. This is great. Because I only had Ratthew double. Yeah, there's a B3. We'll go back to it. We'll circle back around. I only had Ratthew double himself from the bridge out because I didn't really know what the vocals should be like yet in the other stuff, so I just didn't have him do it. And we were working fast, so I was like, fuck it, let's just, let's just leave.
Year after year, I lose my spirit. Year after year, I lose my joy. Year after year, I still fear it, 'cause year after year, I feel less like a boy. Year after year, I lose my spirit. Year after year, I lose my joy. Year after year, I still fear it, 'cause year after year, I feel less like a boy. There won't be snow.
Banging. Listen to that shit. That's how you construct a bridge. Some vocals for a bridge. I guess, anyway. I don't know. Anyway, so let's pop back up here. We talked acoustics. I prefer to write in my control room. I like to have I like to track my vocals in my control room. First of all, it's the best sounding room in my building, right? It sounds great in here. Second of all, I can be right there personal with my artist. I can be right there one-on-one. Like, I don't mind throwing headphones on. I know they're going to sound good. I know the vocals are going to sound, I'm using the right microphone. I always use my Lewitt 1040 for vocals for the most part. So I know they're going to sound good. I can trust that microphone to sound good. So if I can be right in the same room and we can just communicate really quick back and forth, oh, amazing. I love that. Now, if the artist prefers to be out of the room, then that's another story because I want them to be comfortable. But if they don't mind being in the room with me, I love that. All right, so acoustic, I showed you the acoustic, then I doubled and tripled the acoustic from the second hook out. And this to me is one of those, if you want to make doubles and triples and shit, stacks of things sound good, right? If you want them to sound good, to me, you record different textures. This acoustic that he recorded, that he brought, his Martin, is beautiful. So what do? I double it with the shittiest Fender I have, and then I smash it. Look at Now, these sonic textures that should be essentially the same, acoustic guitar, they sit so well all together because they're different textures, they're different sounds. If you mix different textures, if you want it to all sound like the same, right? Like, this is why I think people a lot of times they're like, why don't my guitars sound bigger? Because they just keep using the same guitar and the same sound to stack them. You need harmonic differences for stacks to feel big, for them to feel wide, for them to feel thick, right? That's how you do it. You don't record the same vocals 16 times. You don't record the same guitar 16 times. You record different textures and they stack better. Listen. Listen to this in the mix now.
Weather where I'm at is always warm. There won't be snow falling for all to see. There won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree.
You can hear how much bigger everything opens up. Now, probably not as easy on TikTok, but in my studio and on YouTube, you can hear how much this like adds to the texture of the whole thing. Also, so that's my little rant on acoustics and shit. Now, again, just a little bit of reverb on it. Other than that, I'm doing essentially the same that I would do with almost any acoustic, which is chop off a bunch of the low end of it because that shit, especially on these, sounds really shitty because I'm compressing it so much. Listen how much cutting the low end and boosting the high end spreads the stereo mix as well. As soon as I cut that low end, it starts to chop a little bit out of the area in the middle that feels like the muddy type shit, and suddenly it's like opens up so much. Yes, I appreciate that. The dynamics are crazy. The way that this song was constructed made all of the difference. All right, so up next, we got the organ. I played the organ as an overdub. Once most of this stuff was together is when I played it. You can see I'm okay at organ, but it was supposed to be a tone.
Snow.
You'll notice when I'm playing organ to a song, if I want it to be just a texture in this song, I play in the octave that fills up the space the best. Here, it's all low. It was not a Leslie. I don't have a Leslie. I have an M102, and I just use stereo microphones. Even though it's not really stereo, I use stereo microphones because you do get a slight tonal difference from left to right out in the room, and it makes it feel a little bit more like a reverb or a room verb, if you will. And then on top of that, I will always add a pan man in here to do a slight stereo imagery. And you can tell that it's, you know, it's like I'm miking the room with my headphones on and I'm actually listening kind of loud because you can hear that bleed in there. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. That's mix glue. Bleed is just mix glue when it's done right. When it's not done right, you're an idiot. And you can hear in the choruses, I start adding a higher octave. Sounds great. I love it. You can hear I added the vibrato in once I started getting into that second half of the chorus. The cool thing about organs and shit like that is you don't really have to play them great. You just have to play like about what you want and they'll sound great in the track.
Snow in almost 3 years now. I ain't been home for Christmas.
I love like the way that I played this because you can hear when you just start the song, you can't hear it. But as soon as I solo that organ and you can identify the sonic that it's taking up, as soon as I unsolo it, you go, oh, it's there for sure.
Snow in all now. I ain't been for Christmas in my own town. Dad would light up the house, Mom would dress up the tree. The Christmas spirit would still. We'd be away and safe from the storm, in a house decorated by a fire that's warm. There won't be falling for all to see.
You can hear it really like in this pose. And then here, listen to the way it jumps out here.
I know it's my fault, and I
wanted something in this re-intro section to really step out of the mix a little bit and sound away, because like it's just that basic re-intro from the intro to feel a little bit different. This is how you make dynamics in a song. This is how you make a song dynamic, is whenever you go back to the re-intro, you add a new texture, you add a new sound, you add a new feel. Listen, Morty, you son of a bitch. Anyway, the point is, this organ is a texture filler. So again, I barely had to do any automation on this whole thing. Just here at the end of this chorus, I felt like I played a little louder than I probably should have, and I pulled it down, and then I automated over this re-intro just a little bit. Other than that, no automation on this. Up next is the electric guitar. Also no automation, you can see. It's crazy because when you listen to this mix, it sounds so dynamic. It sounds like it was automated like all over. But the reality is it just literally was played like that. We played with the dynamics and with the intent that we wanted, and it sounds the way. I'm not doing anything extra. Again, I cannot stress enough how easy mixes are when you record it properly, when you play it properly, and when you record it properly. Now, you can't always be in charge of how it's played. In this situation, I was in charge of how it played. I think I'm not a very good musician. I'm not going to impress you with the chords that I play or the solos that I'm playing, but I will impress you with the way that I can sit in any single track, in any single song. I can sit perfectly in the mix with the right dynamics at all time. I can be loud when I'm supposed to and pull back when I'm supposed to, because I'm listening for that in my shit. I feel like so many musicians, like if there was a critique I had of musicians, is they are not playing with their ears. They're playing with their hands, not thinking like I need to come forward in this part and I need to lay back in this part. And that's truly what makes the difference. That's what makes your Sean Hurley's exist. When you look at Sean Hurley's bass playing, he sits perfectly in the dynamic spectrum. Everything. Yes, his notes are good. Yes, his feels. But the more important than his timing and his notes is how well he moves up and down in his dynamics, how well he sits in the pocket. And the pocket is not just timing. The pocket is also dynamics. That's really like almost more than the pocket is timing. Dynamics will make you sit in the pocket more. So if you are in fact a musician and you're listening and watching to this shit, think about that when you're playing. Like, dynamics start with you, and like it shouldn't just be on the engineer to solve your dynamics. I record a really good part. I'm really good at recording shit because I'm always thinking of the dynamics even more than my playing. All right, this electric guitar was done by Andrew Stevenson. Sounds like Lotus on the old internet. And again, it was the same thing. We started and I was just like, roll with it, fuck it. Real loud buzz. You can imagine with this and the Rhodes together, well, you don't have to imagine, I'll just play it. The difference in buzz between the X noise and without the X noise. The X noise is absolutely a game changer for music, which is hilarious because it's been out for like 30 years. It's like one of the first Waves plugins to ever fucking be in existence. And so like, if in fact you pay attention to any of this shit, you've been able to have this plugin the entire time. You didn't need any of the new fancy ones. I swear to God, I don't think they've invented a new plugin in 20s. And when I clip this for the internet, people are going to be like, Soothe is new. Is new. No, it's not. It's all the same fucking shit. It's easier for you because the GUI's right. But none of these things are truly game changers. They've all kind of existed in one form or another this entire time. Whether you had to do it yourself and create a series of two plugins or not, it's always kind of existed. We've had almost all the same plugins since the beginning of fucking time. So, you know, have you tried the Antares noise? No, because I fucking have a noise plugin. People are so like, oh, I need the new one. I already have one. What the fuck do I need a new one for? I'm like, I buy plugins most of the time because something will come in or someone will ask me to like use something and they'll be like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll buy it. Like, I bought Auto Align for that reason. Somebody was like, well, will you try putting Auto Align on the drums? And I was like, fuck, okay. So normally I don't just demo things. Like if somebody asked me to do it once, then I figure like that's worthwhile having in my arsenal if I need it again. So I'll buy a plugin. I bought Auto Align. I put it on my drums. I played them. The client was like, okay, now shut it off. And I bypassed it. And he's like, oh yeah, that sounds way better. And I'm like, yeah, because that's how the fuck I record. I recorded that way in the first place. I wanted them to sound that way. When you put Auto Align on, sometimes it does too good of a job and it gives you more than you want. When you use Soothe, sometimes it does too good of a job and it strips your entire mix of texture. That's what the fuck you guys are so fucked up on, is you're throwing these plugins on, trying to fix it to the best of your ability, trying to make it the best it can be, when that thing that you're stripping out was the thing that made that sound sit right in the mix. You should have been getting rid of all the other shit and leaving that resonant frequency, because that resonant frequency is probably a harmonic that's helping it sit better in the track. My rant, whatever. It's just my personal thoughts. But if you buy Soothe or you buy fucking, you know, any of these plugins, any of these magic fixer plugins, I'm on a personal vendetta against Soothe right now because I keep seeing their fucking, like, John Castelli fucking mix with the masters where he talks about it. And they got that, I like both of these people. I like John, I like Ivan. But the fact they got this fucking super clip of Ivan asking, like, what's your favorite plugin? And then everybody, Soothe. Honestly, that says something so horrible about the music industry. The fact that so many people are in love with a plugin that fixes resonant frequencies means to me that we're not recording properly in any way, shape, or form. Whether they need it or they're overusing it does not matter. It makes me mad because it's like, we didn't need that plugin for fucking 60 years. And now all of a sudden it's everybody's favorite plugin. People aren't recording properly. You're not recording properly. Please, for the love of God, record better. And this will all go away. I used to have a rant button for just this moment, but whatever. Anyway, rant over. That shit's getting clipped for the fucking YouTube. All right, so electric guitar. He's playing a little arpeggiated shit all over the track. I think like.
From the storm in a house decorated by a fire.
Now, in this situation, this reverb is not just to make the guitar feel washy, right? Not just there to make it have reverb, because he had reverb on his guitar originally.
Light up the house.
I think anyway.
Christmas spirit would still.
Reverb isn't just an effect, right? It is also a mix technique in order to make something sit farther back in the mix. If you want something to sit farther back in the mix, then you put more reverb on it, and it will take away some of that brightness, some of the top end, and it will help it sit back and give it a little bit of a stereo feel.
Light up the house, mama dress up the tree. Christmas spirit would still capture me. We'd be away and safe from the storm. And
you should try the TikTok Studio app for good recordings of your life. I would love to. I'm actually recording it in OBS on YouTube as well. But I would absolutely use TikTok Studio. But TikTok Studio is only available on PC, so I had to buy a PC. And I just haven't had time to figure out how to run this whole rigmarole, right? Because you know what? Monday through fucking Monday, I'm goddamn working. This day, Mix Monday, at this time, 5 to 7, this is the only time during my entire life that I'm like, no, I'm setting this aside. And when I'm not able to be here, you have to understand, I'm literally just, I'm working. I'm fucking working all the time. I am a premier recording engineer, literally at the fucking, like, peak of my fucking game. When did they have a Mac version? Since when do they have a Mac version? You say Mac, but what part of the mix am I working on? We are currently finishing up the instrumental section. I'm going to mute the vocals real quick, actually, so we can hear this whole thing as a track.
falling for all to see.
Apparently just last week they released Mac version. So I guess we're going to try it out. We'll see if we can get the Mac version. Maybe next week, Mix Monday will be in high definition. Maybe next week we will have the most mixed Monday of all mix. Because if they release the Mac version and I can just run Mix Monday on my Mac while I'm also, oh my God. You guys have no idea. I'll fucking cream my pants if that happened. If that happened, because I want to go live on Instagram, but I'm still banned on Instagram from doing lives for another, like, 260 days or some shit. I swear to God, I don't even know what I did. I have no idea, but I've been banned from Instagram. I was banned for a total of 1 year. 1 year. I still have, like, 260 days left or something. Anyway, so this is our acoustic, or our instrumental track. be using 20 plugins total on this. It could be less. A lot of them are reverbs. Most of the plugins that I'm using on here are reverbs. And they're all the same reverb, which is hilarious. And they're all barely changing in any way, shape, or form. I'm mostly using reverbs as plugins. Other than that, a couple 1176s. I could mix this entire thing with maybe 4 different plugins total. There is nothing going on here. Why does it sound so incredible? Because I recorded it properly. I arranged it properly. How do you manage to keep all the instruments separate but glued at the same time? This is fire. I recorded it properly. This is the thing. It's like, man, composition, arrangement, and recording are more important than mixing. And I cannot stress this enough. Like there is good mixers out here who do important stuff. Like I love to mix. I mix a lot of shit. They're doing good jobs, right? But the most important job in this entire fucking industry is the recording and the arrangement, the composition, the fucking producer, the actual person who says, this sound is not here, we need it here. And if you do that right, you never, no, there's, I literally, the question is, did you track with any outboard gear? None. The only thing I used was my mic pre's. I didn't even use any EQs going in. This is everything about this mix. I'm going to put this mix out. I'm going to give you guys the entire Pro Tools session. So check back in a couple days. If you are not already signed up for my newsletter, sign up for my newsletter because I will send it out on my newsletter. You can do that in my bio, I think. If not, you can do it at greazydoesit.com. But sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to send out this Pro Tools session so you can literally go through every single sound and hear it. Because I want this. This is it. Like this is how you're. I want you to do this. In that instrumental mix, you can hear every single instrument. Every single one. If you think about it, if you focus, you can clearly hear the sleigh bells, the tambo, the drums, obviously. You can hear the Rhodes. You can hear the acoustics. You can hear the electric. You can hear the organ. You can hear every instrument, and every single one of them is in its own defined spot because I recorded it that way. That's all I'm saying. Get better at recording, and you get better at mixing. Clip it. Put the ad at the end of it. Greazy does it. That's how you learn how to record properly. Greazy motherfucking does it. All right, so now we got the vocal. Now you can see very clearly the vocal is a comp. It's a big comp, right? But also check out the shades. Usually the shades will show you how much of a, like these were all in sections. We broke this down, but for the most part, all of them come from the same take. A lot of these are coming from the same take, and it's just changing which take it is as he goes through. But it's like there's a lot of the green, there's a lot of the red, and they're in sections. All right, so let's add this vocal in. This vocal does not have a lot going on, and it is really the only automation I spent time on in this entire song. I want my vocal to sit on top the entire time, and I believe, especially whenever you have a more static mix like I have up on the instrumental side, I believe that like the vocal really should, like the best way to deal with somebody with a big dynamic range is to compress them a little bit and then automate them back in to still have good dynamic range. And you can see that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm automating up at the end of this hook because I want it to feel that way. I'm automating up a little bit more at the end of this verse. It's just, or at this pre. That's all that's happening is I'm just giving a little bit more texture or a little bit more volume to this vocal.
I ain't seen snow in almost 3 years now. I ain't been home.
You will also notice, all right, I am compressing this vocal. There's an 1176 on here to compress. Notice.
Light up the house, mama, dress up the tree. Christmas spirit would still capture me.
It is not compressing very hard here. Why? Because he's not singing hard. Don't put compression on to fucking smash everything, unless that's the sound you're going for. Do things with intent. In this section, I don't want it to compress very much because he's not singing very hard. The compression is for down here. When I set this compression level, there's no level amount. When I set this compression level, I went to the spot where he was singing the hardest, and I set the compression level for that part of the song. I'm not setting the compression level, because if you set it for like the softest part to be compressing, then when you get to that end section, it's gonna be just fucking smashing the shit out of it. Are you a proponent of starting your mix process at the loudest part? Yes and no. I don't start it at the loudest part, but I think you should set your levels a lot of times at the loudest part. You shouldn't set your levels at the quietest part. So it's, I guess in a way I am kind of saying start it at the loudest part, but not really. Static EQ for vocal comps. Yeah, absolutely. Stop doing this weird shit, guys. Stop doing these crazy like, oh, I'm gonna EQ just this part and not this part. Just stop. You don't need to do any of that stuff. All that stuff is just you hearing like weird shit. Now, if it's like crazy different, like you used a different microphone for a punch or some shit like that, and it's just crazy different sounding and you can hear it, yes, fine, do that. But everything else, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Stop doing shit. The only thing that I do on this vocal that's anything about interesting is adding this shine on here. This shine is just my Aphex, bam, vintage oral exciter. And I just slam on a de-esser before it, just so that it's chopping out any S's or T's or F's or anything. You don't need any of that in this sound. It's just gonna make your shit too bright. And I do it before so that I'm not even adding any of that excitement, any of that saturation to the S's or the T's. It's harder to remove it afterwards than it is before. And you can really hear the difference that this makes putting this on. Is like I throw this, all this is doing is like saturating, like harmonic. It's basically parallel saturation. It is adding a saturation level in parallel to the lead vocal. Is it just making it louder? Kind of, but in the right way. Here we go, live. I gotta put the little puzzle piece in because I've been on here for more than an hour. That's my guess. That's my thing to let me know whenever I'm about to get off, is like TikTok reminds me. All right, so parallel saturation. It is just saturating in parallel, which is kind of just making it louder, but it's making it louder with texture, right? You'd make a really good cartoon voice actor in a show about interdimensional crazy science. It's not like I don't know who the fuck you think I sound like. It's pretty fucking obvious. So let's move on and stop distracting me. It just does a little thing. It's just a nice little saturation thing. You can hear it brings the vocal a little bit forward. Yeah, get it right from the source and don't overcomplicate it. Just don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's not fucking hard. Like, granted, again, I mixed this, or I recorded this, so I know it's good. We already talked a bit about the vocals, but I'm going to add them back in now so we can talk about a few of these things. Very specifically, I didn't really want you to notice the backgrounds until you get to the like the bridge, but I am adding some really light ooze behind the pre's. These are auto-tuned to hell.
Maybe next year we'll be together.
And you can hear when I go back, put everything in, it's really just sitting underneath. You're not supposed to hear these, you're just supposed to feel them.
Light up the house, Mom would dress up the tree. Christmas spirit would still capture me. We'd be away and safe from the storm, in a house decorated by a fire that's warm. There won't be snow falling for all to see.
Now I'm automating these harms. Question was, do I use Melodyne or just Autotune? I use whatever is necessary. I use Melodyne a lot, but if it's something like backgrounds, I don't really need to like go crazy. I can just Autotune the shit out of these. Like no one's gonna hear them. They are in fact very Autotuned. You can hear they're pretty auto-tuned, but it doesn't matter. These are in the backgrounds. You're not even supposed to fucking hear them. It's not until we get to these oohs here in the bridge. You're supposed to hear those ones, right? So I made sure you do.
Year after year, I lose my spirit. Year after year, I lose my joy. Year after year, I still fear it. 'Cause year after year, I feel less like a boy. Year after year, I lose my spirit. Year after year, I lose my joy. Year after year, I still fear it. 'Cause year after year, I feel less like a boy. There won't be snow falling for all to see.
And this is where I start bringing in like the doubles, like all the shit. Like he starts having doubles here. He sings his doubles all the way out.
Falling for all to see. There won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree. Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember those nights. That's like a boy, there won't be snow falling for all to see. There won't be any presents with my name underneath the tree. Maybe next year we'll be together again, so I won't have to call and say remember those nights before I was grown. 'Cause this year I'm spending Christmas all.
Big stacks, adding a bunch. Again, composing with intent throughout the entire song. All right, it's 6:10. I'm getting sweaty. Did I swap out the Lewitt for something else on those doubles? You damn sure right I did. Do you know why? Because Greazy don't record with the Lewitt. I record everybody else with the Lewitt. I love everybody else on the Lewitt. Greazy don't record with the Lewitt. Greazy usually records with a 58. This is a 57, but I sit here right here at the desk with my 58 with the speakers on, and I record like this. Maybe I need to, in order for me to sing, I gotta hear it. I gotta hear the shit right in my face. It's gotta be loud. You can hear whenever I solo these up. You can hear. They sound like shit, bro.
There will be snow falling for all to see. There won't be any present.
And you can see on a lot of these, I chopped out everything in between them. Probably because it was noisy as fuck. Because all my shit is just noisy.
No.
You hear all like the control room noise and shit. The air conditioner, the shit sounds everything. I like to sit at my desk to record vocals. All right, more questions. What do we got questions-wise? I love to answer questions. I don't. I can't wait to leave. I got acid reflux from these White Claws, baby. Actually, I just had acid reflux all day. Probably because I ate so much Thanksgiving turkey. I am still collecting guitar pedals. I have a holographic Jets coming. I have a I just got my whammy. I had a whammy, but my whammy, like I lost the power, and the power for the whammies are special, and the one that I had wasn't great anyway, so I just decided to pull the trigger on buying a new one. Question. Over here we have a question, and I have an answer. Ask it. So yeah, I got a bunch of guitar pedals. I'm still doing a little thing right now. I'll tell you, I am planning long term to use all those guitar pedals on my roads. I'm not even using them for guitars, so that's going to be really cool. When you mention the acoustic guitar layers, do you mean to record 2 different things, or do you layer? No, I recorded 3 different guitars. This is 3 different guitars. So the whole point is to like fatten up this texture of acoustic guitar. Again, make them interesting. Did you use your Epiphone acoustic? I did not. I just used one of these shitty Fenders I have. I think this one. This guitar changes drastically with the seasons. You can hear right now it's pretty buzzy. And out of tune. But that was pretty much one of them. Again, like I said, I like to layer acoustics with like the shitty tone, yeah. It sounds cool. I mean, but 3 playing the same thing. Yes, sort of. Generally when it comes to acoustic, right? If your first acoustic is playing all like the parts, right? So the first acoustic is playing the hammers and everything. God, this thing's so out of tune. I should use a better example. But if your first acoustic is playing all like the hammers and shit, your second and third acoustic should be playing simpler, right? So for mine, I'm just doing on the second one, I don't remember the chords. I think it's like. Anyway, the point is you don't play the same parts exactly. Your second and third, your double and triple should be slightly simplified versions. And you can hear that with this. Actually, these are pretty much the exact same. But over here, they're not. He's doing the hammer-ons and everything, and I am not. I'm playing it straight. often 500 on vocals, I get sounds horrible. When I take it out, the vocal sounds thin. Any advice how to balance it? It's 600 for me. Yeah, around that area, generally, I assume it's the room reflections maybe. Any advice? All right. Guys, here's what you have to learn. That's you. That's everybody that has as a singer, everybody that has like, oh, I have to take out this on my voice. That's a you thing, right? Nobody else is sitting there going like, oh yeah, it's like 500 hertz. It's 500 hertz is fucking horrible in my voice. I have to take it out. It's a you thing. And when you do you things and mixes, that's what happens is they sound thin. I am generally taking out, like on any vocal, I'm generally taking out up to like, 500 sometimes on a low cut. Like not entirely, but it's like this, where I have like a staged kind of thing, right? Where it's like all of the bottom and then a little bit of this and then a little bit, or like by 500, it's back to normal, right? But like I'm always cutting the low end like this, but it's not, it's never an I'm always doing this, because if it is, that's a you thing. That's a you are having a problem. Yes, I played guitar on this. I did not play all the guitars. Andrew Stevenson played some of the guitars. Any advice for writing, playing, producing, and mixing every instrument yourself? Obviously never ideal, but if it's... I wrote, played, and produced everything on this, with the exception of the guitars and the drums. I played every other instrument on here. It's good if you know what the fuck you're doing. I don't think it's like... I think it's great because you get all the sounds you're looking for, but you should know when to not go for things. You should know when not to play everything. Yeah, here's the drums. I'll solo the drums. Solo the drums. The comment over here is interesting you took out the high frequencies on your vocal. On my stuff, on his stuff, I was taking it out to specifically make this sound more vintagey. The Lewitt was giving me plenty of presence. Again, you don't just do the same thing on every vocal. You do what's right for the vocal. You can hear it.
Hit the tree. Maybe next year we'll be together again. So I won't have to call and say remember well before I was grown.
You take out what needs. You can hear that has plenty of presence. I'm not losing the tone. I'm not losing the center of the vocal. I'm not losing it being loud in the mix. Do what's right for the song. Interesting you took it out. It shouldn't be. That means that there was too much of it there, and so I got rid of it. You know? This is what we need to start thinking about more. You guys need to take some acid and mix a song. You know? I mean, I guess I'm not allowed to say that on the internet without getting kicked off. I'll see you later, TikTok. But anyway, take some acid and mix a song and tell me what you're actually doing, because you go through all of these things and you do all this stuff because you're supposed to. And if you don't, it just feels better. When you don't mix by the numbers, because like that's why I don't use templates. That's why I don't do any of that shit. Because when you do that, you're putting yourself into a corner of this should sound this way. If you do that, you fuck your music up. Just mix every song the way it should be. It should sound... I didn't have to do a bunch of drums because that wasn't the vibe on these drums.
I lose my joy year after year. I still fear it, 'cause year after year I feel less like a boy year after year.
The less you do, the better it is. The snare is so fucking good, man. Thank you. You know why? Because we picked the right fucking snare for the job. There's like, I fucking cannot express strong enough that you guys are being conned by the mix lessons industry. People come and watch this stream. Do you know how crazy it is to me that people come and watch this stream? But if I did a tracking Tuesday, you wouldn't. It'd be way less people here. It's not. Like mixing gives you all this, like it's a trick, it's a secret, it's a special way to do things. No, the special way to do things is record it properly. And the special way to do things is record with intent. Think about all the things that you're doing. Make music with intent, and it starts coming together. The best mixes I've ever done, the song was fucking awesome, and I couldn't do wrong. You know? Somebody told me that rock is in the mids. What do you think, and how do you make room for everything? Again, I say this all the time. It's not about, it's like, it's not about making room for everything in the same way that people are thinking about making room for everything, right? It's about, like, you're creating a mix in 3-dimension, right? This is why Atmos pisses me off. It's like, I've always been able to make it feel like things are here and here and here and here and here and all that shit, right? With a mix, you're putting things where they belong in space. And if you close your eyes, your kick and snare should be here, and your cymbals should be back here just a little bit, and your toms should be here, and your fucking bass should be here, and it should nestle right around your kick drum in this most beautiful little texture. Most of the time, right? You should be able to close your eyes and just envision the fucking band and where they exist. And that's why people spend so much time trying to like get it to sound right. You're just not closing your eyes. Just close your eyes, man. How's internet bullying real? Just close your eyes. I'm just saying. Very, very little processing on this whole song. Look at this. There's almost nothing. Most of the shit that's on here is me and auto-tune. Because I can't sing worth a shit. But everything else, man, it's so minimal. And everything that I'm doing is very creative and cool.
Oh, you'll miss me.
I'm putting this pan man on this organ so that it's just gently swaying back and forth. That mimics a Leslie. That's what a Leslie would do. All right, last questions. Who's got last questions before I bounce? I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Mix Monday is over. I'm going to be back here next week. Do not forget to purchase the Greazy Does It recording course. It will make you a better engineer, and then the next thing you fucking know, you'll be recording great shit, and then you won't have to mix anymore. That's the goal. Every fucking good mixer I know is like, yeah, dude, that also records. It's like, yeah, I just try and get it right at the source so I don't have to do any work. All right? So, yeah, dog. Appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend. Or week. It's Monday, isn't it? Yeah. Have a great week. Thanks for hanging out on Mix Monday, and we'll see y'all all next week probably. Peace.